Today, we're going to take a look at the new 901. I'm going to give you 5 things I love about it and 5 things I kind of wish that had changed. Stick around. All right, first thing I love about this bike is the handling. It handles so much better than my old bike, and quite frankly, better than any motorcycle I've owned to date. On road, this thing performs like a street bike. You can lean it into corners. The weight's down low, as I'm sure everybody knows, which makes a huge difference. Something you can read about, but until you feel it, you're not really going to believe it. So on road, incredible. Off road, I can break this thing loose real easy, and I'm not the best off-road rider by any means. This thing just instills confidence. Part of that might be the weight. I'm not a big fan of these tires, so I wouldn't say that it's the Pirellis. They're okay. They're not horrible, but yeah, just the way that this rides, it's like a dirt bike on steroids in my mind. All right, my first dislike about this bike. Hard to say, but I think I'm going to go with the skid plate. Now, to be fair, most people are going to change out the skid plate anyway. But this thing is just janky. It's super flimsy. You can't even use it to support the bike if you're going to jack it up. It's got to go, so that's going to be one of my first mods. Number 2. Thing that I like is this interface. This thing is great. I've owned a BMW GS that has a great interface. It is better than this one, but this is almost as good. The only thing that I don't like about the interface possibly is the buttons. They're not as tactile, I would say, and how you operate it isn't as great. It's easy to navigate, easy to understand, but I wish the buttons had sort of a more expensive feel to them, but the interface is just awesome. There's a lot of different options in here. I'm sure there's all sorts of things on YouTube where you can figure out how to operate this. I'm not going through that, but I will say there's a lot of information in here. There's a lot of cool customization things you can do to set up the bike so it's easy to ride. The interface is definitely a bonus. All right, second thing that I do not like about this bike are the turn signals. Now again, to be fair, every bike has shitty turn signals from the factory. But I had the rear turn signals come out of the socket twice in the first week I owned it. They were just dangling around. So one, they were installed shitty, and it's a pain in the ass to get back to them to remount them. But 2, they're just crappy for a bike this expensive. It wouldn't really be that much to add LEDs to it. So Husky, you're getting knocked on the turn signals. Third thing I love about the bike, and it could have been the first thing. These aren't in particular order, but God, the looks. I still am in love with this bike. I almost bought a KTM last year, and then when I heard this is coming out, I waited, because to me, this thing just looks so sweet. Husky, you did it right there. All right, third thing I don't like about the bike, or wish that they had done differently, are the front lights. Let me turn them on for you. All right, they're pretty awesome. It's hard to knock this, but in the prototype, the passing lights had this yellow cover on them. Now, I don't even see that as an accessory. I think it looked freaking awesome that way. But yeah, I wish that's how it came from the factory. I'm hoping that comes available. Again, just if you're not aware, you're going to get white LEDs. All right, so the fourth thing I love about this bike is the serviceability. 1, just being able to check on things like your oil is something that I'm not used to having on my bikes, but easy access to fill oil. Really easy access to fill coolant. I've had bikes where you had to remove the whole fairing to do that. Your brake reservoirs are easily accessible. Chain is easy to measure. So just the fact that the necessities of working on this bike are right there where you can get at them, huge plus. All right, something that's a little strange that I wasn't ready for or didn't anticipate. There's no battery tender on this bike. So if you're not gonna be able to ride it for a week or two in the winter, I'm used to having the little dongle come out so that you can plug it in. Not on this bike. Again, something easy to add, but I think that's an oversight on Husky's part. Probably the last thing that I'm going to say on my top 5 likes is the adjustability. Seat position can be adjusted. The seat is super comfortable, but you can adjust it so if you're going on a long ride on the road and you want some leg room, you can move it up. Shifting peg and the brake pedal are also adjustable. One thing that is really cool is the brake pedal here can be flipped upside down. Actually, when I got the bike, it wasn't this way. So if you do a lot of off-road riding, check that out. Pretty easy just to flip it over. I actually bought a pedal for that. And then I realized I didn't need to because it just flips right over. So adjustability of the stock bike for comfort, real plus. Last but not least, no, these are not the mirrors that come with the bike. They give you some really shitty mirrors. Now, I've had bikes where I've had the stock mirrors for 6 months. These mirrors need to be replaced as soon as you buy the bike. These are obviously double takes. I took them off my other bike, but if you don't have double takes that you can transfer over, get ready to buy some mirrors because the stock ones are absolute garbage. Alright guys, that concludes this video. Obviously this is a great bike. I'm trying to nitpick things here. There is not a lot I don't like about it. And a lot of the things that I am calling out as kind of negatives are things that most people are going to go through and change anyway. Stick around, I'm going to do some modifications to this. Probably walk you through some of those, do some sound checks on exhaust. But yeah, if you have questions about the Norden, leave them in the comments. Like this video, subscribe. Appreciate it.